Hello everyone and welcome to Cosmere Connections. We're a collective of book-loving nerds rereading Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere series. From book 1 to book 16 million, we'll be uncovering every secret connection there is to find. On our show today we have Swiggity Swoo.
I'm not drunk. I'm investigating alternative forms of sobriety.
John.
Wasn't the always of wanting of knowledge, or knowing, or something, or toes.
Hey.
The eternal desire of hungry soul is knowledge.
And I'm ReaderWarrior, and today we're going to be covering Mistborn, Shadows of Self, chapters 5 through 8. And John, I believe you have the first.
I do. I should have pulled this up already. Moment, please.
Please stand by.
Okay, here we go.
The important things. The engineers, the turtles.
Right? Chapter 5, Wayne spends some time storing up health, and we get a look at Wayne spends some time storing up health, and we get a look into his unique perspective. Crap. We also get to see Wayne confront his demons about his past by delivering his monthly payment to the daughter of the man he killed accidentally. Meanwhile, Marassi is doing her inspectigator work. I wrote it wrong in my notes. Also, meanwhile, Wax is stuck visiting the Terris village and confronting some of his own past demons in the form of his grandmother. Wax does find a lead, and it turns out to be a person he has a distant connection to in his own past. Wayne completes his epic journey, and the single most masochistic person I have ever read about. Who would do that to themselves? He is insane. Anyway, every month, like, gah. Meanwhile, again, Marassi finds out why her fellows resent her and is given a task. Go watch and report back on the governor's speech. Done.
That was very Johnny Bravo of you at the end there.
That was the idea.
Well executed.
She also Marassi finds out in this chapter why Reddy doesn't like her. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Because she stole his job.
Well, and everybody else as well, because they're all on his side. They were like on Team Redding, so
yeah.
Yeah. In this chapter set, we learn it. I don't remember if it's this one.
This one.
It is this chapter.
This is one, yes.
It is chapter 5.
This chapter?
Because that chapter is very long.
Yeah, chapter 5 is very long.
It is very long. But
it could have been a whole part of the book.
Very long, and it jumps around a lot.
It does, but
what do these chapters do?
I got things to talk about in this chapter.
I think in some of these somewhat more recent Sanderson books, I think he uses that mechanic when important events are happening like all together, and it like I feel like it is an author's tool to signify that this is a moment of import for many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Because if you put things like that in separate chapters, it makes them feel sequential, and this is like, no, this is a moment, capital M.
Also implies like all of this is happening at the same time. If you do it in different chapters, it makes it sequential.
Right.
Especially in some of the other books where like you have characters that are just totally different parts of the planet or wherever, and just like having them all converge at the end can really make for like a powerful kind of like, oh wow, now I'm gonna see this guy talk to this guy. Like that stuff is always really satisfying. Rita, did you have some stuff you wanted to bring up? I feel like I keep cutting you off.
Now I'm gonna go back and do the POVs kind of section by section.
Okay.
You don't need to do the chapter I just did all over again. We're just talking
Well,
like
no, but
just getting through the plot. If you got a couple of
Like-
favorite quotes, or something, go for it. But
no, I got like, what is the physics of a steel runner with wind resistance? Like, if they're able to move that quickly, how come like they're able to do that?
sonic boom.
Exactly. Do you think it is possible for a steel runner to store up speed so much they can do that?
That is a question for the spoiler section.
Okay.
I don't know.
I
I
would
don't know
think
enough about
probably.
physics to really say.
Because I feel like Vin doing it with that one steel push, like she used pewter to keep her body together. Also, the human body not very aerodynamic. Unless you have the Flash, running is not really a good way to do it.
I mean, it's gotta be like, it's gotta slow you down somewhat, right? But like, how fast before it really hurts you? Because you can stick your hand out the window of your car, and it's not a big deal if you're going like 70 miles per hour.
Yeah. But that's Mach 1.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I have a memory of a film theory episode where they talked about the Superman flying at that speed and he destroys the world because of the amount of atoms his body would catch or something. I don't remember.
So you're talking significantly faster than your car.
Yeah.
I was curious
Well,
if like I was curious about when you guys would store up health, because in the beginning of this chapter it talks about Wayne storing up his health and how he's like got the sniffles and he's just walking around with the sniffles for a time. And I was like, if you were like a blood maker, you know, and you had to store up some health, when would you do it? Would you do it at work? Would you do it on the weekend?
I'd do it while I slept.
you could do it while you sleep, but pretty much any other time where I'm alone.
Wouldn't you just not get any rest then?
This is where ferrochammy is a little weird because there's one of the metals where it's like, oh, you can store wakefulness, which you can store while you're sleeping, but all the
That's
other ones typically.
that is the only one that you can store while you are sleeping.
Yeah.
Mm.
All the other ones require like focused intent to store.
So I did look it up about steel running real quick.
Like,
There was a question that someone had asked, like about like want to know how fast like steel compounder like could go. And Sanderson said that like steel runners can resist a lot of things due to the power, like they can withstand the G forces on their body, but they cannot ignore wind resistance and friction. And they will burn up if they start running too quickly.
All right then.
That settles that.
so there's a natural speed limit.
Yeah.
Wayne leaving the doily filled with snot after picking it up is just hilarious to me. Let's see.
There was somebody mentioned like Tim Veshin. Did you guys see that?
The what?
His name was like
The what?
Tim Veshin.
Yep, the Tim Bastion. He's the one who modernized motor cars and brought them to Ellendale. Wax has an aluminum hat now. Everybody's got to have aluminum hats now.
I think his hat was always lined, but I think, but I don't actually know if that's actually true. But
I really like the village was really cool. And it sort of have the Earth overtaking modernity visual to it. And so I gotta like wonder is that just normally what would happen if nobody upkeeps this really perfect area Harmony made, or did he do something special for his people?
No, they stated in that chapter that like this is what Elendel would look like if no one was upkeeping.
Yeah, because they don't so much as farm as rush to harvest before it goes to seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool though, getting to see a little Terris town. It wasn't as cool as the political stuff for me in this chapter though. Like, I was really into the Marcy part where she stood up to her boss, because it was like basically she was like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure that the governor might actually be corrupt, or like the mayor, I can't remember." And
Governor.
thank you. And he was just kind of like, "That's not our job to question that, you know." And she was like, I thought we worked for the people, not the mayor." I'm like,
Not the governor.
We work for peace.
I know, now I'm saying the mayor.
Yeah.
I thought we worked for the senator, not the...
Let's see. I kind of like the idea of being by a Native American actor. And like the whole Terris scene does kind of remind me of Native American culture. Because there is that one line about, oh, his tan most likely came from that genetic branch, the ancient Terris people, and I was like, I think the artwork never sort of implies that he's not white.
Yeah, I think that people definitely forget about that.
Brute robes, that was kind of cool, where the Terris have different attire for different fairings. I kind of like that.
Oh yeah, I like how they really don't like wax.
Wax doesn't really like them either, so like it's kind of mutual.
Okay, this kind of also bugged me. Why is it called a High Imperial when there's no Empire?
Because it's a remnant of the last empire.
Because Spook was I think, wasn't he the emperor? Wasn't he emperor?
No.
No, he wasn't.
Nope.
Elend was the last emperor. Spook was the Lord Mistborn.
The Lord Mistborn. That's sorry. Yeah.
But
this is always. Yeah, now that I think about I know why modern schools have walls, but I don't know why ancient schools have walls.
Because books were expensive.
Yeah.
Good answer. And then, really quickly, gum was invented in 1848. Well, the first commercial gum. By John B. Curtis. Developed state of Maine pure spruce gum.
Ew. Of all the flavors.
Paraffin wax-based gums became more popular than that in 1850s. And then in 1969, William F. Semple patented a rubber-based chewing gum. 1870s, Thomas Adams patented a gum-making machine.
Oh, those poor saps. They didn't even have microplastics back then.
Where's all the flavor? Okay. So then you have the wax. By the way, what's her name? Madame Pemfort just cracking her knuckles and about to beat up Wayne is utterly hilarious.
Meanwhile, Wayne's all like, "Oh, how you doing?"
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
You look strangely nice today. And then there's also reference throughout this entire chapter set to a Zobel, who is a reference to one of Brandon Sanderson's longtime fans. And I can pull up her full name. It's like Calalyn Zobel. Yes, here it is. Calalin Zobel, one of his longtime early readers, cameoed in the Rithmatis, as well as 3 different things of this chapter set.
Was they in like a writing group or like is it just like actually just like a solid old fan?
I think it is just that. This could
That's
be.
cool.
Is she the one who made cookies at one time that he references?
Oh yeah, there is someone who like makes him cookies every that he.
There you go.
No idea. Maybe. And then I feel like we should sort of talk about the Wayne scene, because Wayne is not doing a nice thing here. He is.
No, not to anybody.
Yeah, like he's trying to hurt himself, which is an interesting character because he feels tremendous guilt for what he did. But this poor girl is being harassed and tortured the beginning of every month. And she has made it very clear she does not want him around. She does not want to see him. And yet, even with setting up guards and telling the Madame Penfort, do not let him in, he still does.
Right. And like it's clear that like the first time you read this, you think he's trying to get information for the case, or he's trying to like do some sleuthing. But then when it's revealed what it is, it's kind of a gut punch. But it's
Mm,
it's an
This is also
opportunity.
this is the first that we kind of learn a little bit more about Wayne's past.
Right. Like it's an opportunity to show like how remorseful he is and like where he is at with this.
It's interesting looking back and like when Brandon first wrote. Well, first of all, Wayne was the character you wrote first, so seeing this interesting character that he wanted to write, and then seeing the time in which we can look back and realize, because when you first read it, you're like, oh, this is Wayne, punishing himself. This is interesting. This is good, and he must want that. Think about it a little bit more deeply, and you start. He's not really doing a nice thing here at all. And I like the fact that we have a character who's not necessarily doing that sort of thing. Yeah. There's a reference to white-furred beasts when he's in the tent. When Wax is in the tent. So I gotta wonder, were there like, I think that's a Yeti joke, or maybe there were polar bears in Mistborn Era 1 or something.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there were polar bears.
Trying
Yeah.
to think if we know of anything.
Not
White
really.
spine
To the best of our
confirmed.
knowledge, there were like nothing in Era 1. And I kind of like the idea that even the Terris people are like, hey, we don't want another Lord Ruler. Things did not go well last time.
That was really interesting, wasn't it? That doesn't really get I don't know. I guess that's kind of a spoiler, but it doesn't seem to really get explored too much. That idea of like, oh, mixing these powers is bad. And it's weird almost that they would have that thought, because like if you think to their history, the belief that mixing the powers was bad because somebody could challenge the Lord Ruler was exactly what the Lord Ruler believed.
Mm-hmm. Kind of sets up this weird Terris ideology where we feel anger at that person, but we also feel sort of guilty because that was partially us.
I just want to point out that at the time of the Lord Ruler, mixing the powers really was bad, because if you put too many spikes in Rune, could take you over, and that would be bad.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
Also, we don't.
that's like a different power to mix.
I mean, it is. Yes, it is different, but it's kind of same.
I guess if nothing else, like I can see where they're coming from because it is really powerful and like, look at Miles 100 Lives, for example, like dangerous criminal who almost can't be killed. And but at the same time, hey, we had one of those pretty recently and we were able to take care of it. So I don't know.
And it took God stepping in a little bit.
Actually, the exact thing you're worried about wasn't that big of a deal. I actually took care of it in the last book, so
Yeah.
you can step off, Grandma.
Did Saza never? I was trying to remember. Saza never killed people.
No,
He only ever killed.
He killed the Koloss, but that's it. That's the only time he ever fought.
I was trying to remember. He killed Koloss. He killed Inquisitors, or at least tried to kill Inquisitors.
I was like, I don't think he ever killed any Inquisitors.
Yeah, I don't know.
He fought the Koloss during the Battle of Luthadel, during the Siege of Luthadel, but I think that's the only time that he ever fought.
I'm also thinking back when in Final Empire when he's captured with Vin, like
He helped.
when Ellen comes to save them.
Yeah, he tried to break Vin out, but he didn't attack anyone. He didn't ever attack anyone during that.
I feel like he throws down in Hero of Ages a little bit, like when they're going into like the Kandras.
No,
I don't know.
Mm-mm. No, he doesn't.
I did have a funny sidebar.
No, he does fight Kandra. Yeah, because there's a line where he picks up a hammer and smashes their bones.
Right, but he knows that's not going to hurt them.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it'll hurt physically, but it's not like...
It's not going to kill them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If I could just break the fourth wall for like a second. We had to record today and I hadn't read them yet, and so I was trying to speed through and there wasn't a ton of time, and like I had to drive somewhere and me and my girlfriend were both going to be in the car, and I was thinking like, and for context, we are in the middle of Well of Ascension, so she has not read any of these books, and I was thinking like, oh, they're written pretty well. Like they don't super spoil other things, like
except for this book. This chapter like, has a huge spoiler in chapter 7.
Like, do you guys remember when this person did this and this happened? Like, oh. I like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's the biggest spoiler ever in chapter 7, which is Raider's chapter.
Could not be worse. Could not spoil anything worse. Like,
that's why I really want to find it interesting. If there's a person who started Mistborn with Era 2, is just getting all of this now, and what is their thought process?
That would be crazy.
And then, did you get the joke with the Steel Runner?
What?
Did you get?
Apparently, I missed it.
Her name is I-Wee. I-Wee.
Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah. Direct the sell into Wallen right there.
If I had read it, I would probably have had a better chance of catching that, but I listened to it and yeah.
Well, they specifically give they say how it's pronounced in the book, which is utterly hilarious. Just the fact that Wax is like being told, Allomancy, we don't like that here. And then as he leaving, instead of just walking out or leaving, he's like, no, I'm going to use Allomancy to fly out of here.
Yeah, because he's a little shit sometimes.
He does have a contrary streak to him.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's how I would leave everywhere all the time if I could.
That is also fair.
Zinc tongues was the last note. I found the word zinc tongue to be interesting. That's all I got for chapter 5.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. I remember that. Yeah, because that's like is that when you burn to riot?
Yes.
There you
go. Anything else for chapter 5?
Nope.
I think we've pretty much done that one in.
Chapter 6, Swiggity. I believe that one
Chapter
belongs to you.
Yep. Again, a very brief summary this week. But Wax flies, sees protest, Marcy attends a speech, Wayne needs comforting, Wax sees Bloody Tan, Wayne finds Adashwi's place, oh no, she's dead. The speech is fumbled, prompts an assassination, Wayne does the Wayne thing, Marcy stops him with cadmium and good sense, Hemalurgy's back, Wax can't loot dead guys, someone else moves us, lawman, was in her pocket.
Can we just have Swiggity do all summaries from now on?
So yeah,
I would. That is good job.
chapter.
So you get an inside look on how the system of government is set up, where you've got one side is elected, the other half is noble blood. Reference to Tyndawyl. And we learned that, yep. We learned that Deadfinger taught Wax. That was interesting. And let's see. Wasn't Vin in Well of Ascension? There was a economic thing in that where she was trying to buy apples and she was surprised about the prices. Was it apples then as well?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. Because she wasn't buying apples, but she was in the market. She was getting the dog.
The Axe-Hound. Not Axe-Hound. Wolfhound.
What's an Axe-Hound? I know what an axe is, but what's a hound?
We'll worry about that later. I just thought it was a nice parallel to that.
Yeah.
And then the lady who's selling the outrageous apple, you can go to Ellen's stand. And I'm like, Ellen's selling apples now? He did.
Well, of course there are people named Ellen, because you want to name your kid after the last emperor.
Oh, naturally, yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're also...
You mean the Ascendant Warrior and his husband?
There are also probably kids running around whose names are Lestibornes.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I'm sorry, kid. That's a mouthful and a half.
And the etymology.
Do you think the definition? Do you think the definition of lefting I'm born has changed then, or do they not even know that that's
the namesake? They might
namesake?
not know that that's the namesake.
Yeah.
They probably mistranslated it to something really nice now.
Yeah. Reference to ATM.
I know that was
love
awesome.
that.
So she's like, you're these apples are overpriced unless there's ATM in them. I love that.
The Ascendant Warrior and her husband. Pewter-necked bowls. That one I don't think I've noticed before.
What was that?
There was a line about pewter-necked bowls, I think, when one of the sergeants was basically trying to imply they're stubborn.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing why. There's a point where Wayne shows up. He's like, "Oh, I've got I-Wee's address," and I got this watch. And then it deliberately says they went back to the store, returned the watch, then went there.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
I really like the part where Wax was talking to Wayne, though, like where they had that kind of heart to heart, and he was like, "No, Wayne, like I definitely would have shot you. You just got lucky." Like he was like, "Oh, thanks, Wax."
Thanks, Wax. You're the
Thanks,
best.
It's like, I think you're the only one who I know who gets cheered up by me telling him that I would shoot him.
Right. But Wayne is just like this complicated figure. Like he's so
He's I mean, he's damaged. He's been hit on the head one too many times.
He hits himself in the head one too many times.
Yeah, you know, six in one, half dozen in the other.
but he's so self-aware. It's weird. Like you always you always catch him in moments when he's like, actually, I'm a depressed piece of shit. Like, like it's weird. Like he's so he's so vibrant and crazy and chaotic, but like there's this deep like self-awareness to him, and like you can almost tell he's just like putting on airs most of the time, and like trying to make the best of what must be trauma.
He kind of reminds me of like Willy Wonka, sort of. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
Well, like the original, not the
The Gene
I
Wilder.
can't remember the Gene Wilder one, where he's always excited and bombastic, but then like he's really the whole reason he's doing it is because he really does not like the industry anymore.
Yeah, like he has those moments of intensity where it switches up and there's a depth.
Everybody
There's
is
no knowing
running.
where we're going.
Yeah.
Wasn't the always of wanting of knowing.
You get to see really why Wayne is really useful, because he just walks around I-Wee's apartment and is like, oh, this is their entire story.
Yeah.
And it's really
Wayne
fun with
knows
that.
people.
Mm-hmm.
He's a people person.
We see the bubble trick work again, and then I feel really stupid because I didn't remember this, but we get actual confirmation that the Death's journal was written by Spook, the Lord Mistborn.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a really cool line. Like, what's that? The book that death gave me.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, whatever you say, Wax.
where was this when I was trying to come up with names for my middle school band?
The book.
That would go hard. Spikes in Death's eyes.
I was thinking when you were talking about Wayne and his ability to get into people's heads, like when you read or I actually don't know if I've ever read Sherlock Holmes, but I've seen the movies, and he does this like magical deduction. Like his leaps are superhuman because that's the way the character is written. I feel like the splitting of like Wax being the more grounded character, unless you're in an action scene, and Wayne being like this almost magical like deduction based on his like world's experience. It was like a really smart move to kind of have like your cake and eat it too, but the grounding of that character,
Like we saw it in chapter 5 where he's like got the note board up and he's like analyzing how people fall and the fact the one glass was completely shattered from people running on it.
yeah, totally.
It's not like Sherlock and Watson. It's like the Sherlock that can read a crime scene, the Sherlock that can read people.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything else for chapter 6?
No.
No.
No. There was a cool there was a cool little monologue about how things are progressing, and it's like, there was just like a line that hit me of like, oh, they have to stay out later at the mills because they have electric lights now. Just like, oh,
Industrial.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought I read one somewhere that before like the light bulb was invented, humans took like 2 sleeps a day
I've heard
or
that.
something.
Yeah.
Like that's why you can see in
I mean, in some places they still do.
This guy wrote the Christmas. Charles Dickens. Like in one of Charles Dickens' books, they refer to like a second nap or something. It was apparently like commonplace for humans to sleep like 5 hours twice a day. Chapter 7. So, I'm back to Wax's mansion, and Renette has dropped off a parcel, and the butler's there, and immediately he's taking off Wayne's coat, and Wayne is suspicious because, they have a tendency to explode around. And honestly, that's pretty much it for that section. They're like, oh, we gotta go investigate other things because, we're detectives. So they run out to the carriage. Wax and Steris have this cute little scene, I think. And then I'm mixing up things. Wax is like, I want to put in my Pathian earring and, do my little prayer of the day. And Wayne's like, okay, I'll give you a moment. I'll sit up front with Hoid. And this time when Wax is doing it, God speaks back. And you get this really awesome... And first of all, it's really creepy how he's like, repairing the thing will cause this specific amount of boxings and will take this specific amount of time when you take it to this specific person and get it fixed to this specific way.
Just little proof that I'm like divine.
Yeah, that I'm him.
Yeah. That I can
H.
see the future.
Yeah. But then you get probably my favorite line of the book, I am Harmony. Quote, the hero of ages, once called Sazed. At the end of one world, I took myself the powers of protection and destruction, and in doing so became the caretaker of the world to come. And you're not crazy.
And you're not crazy, right?
You're not crazy.
We don't want another Zane on our hands.
Yeah. And, they reference Zobel again. All throughout this chapter. Zobel's party. Same person as before the...
Because they're going to her party tonight.
Yep. And then Harmony basically explains the person you're looking for ain't exactly a person. It is a Kandra who has gone insane. And their name is... Yep, thank you, Kay. Their name is Palm, who, depending upon which version you read of Hero of Ages, there is a reference to her or not. But yeah, Tensoon is the Guardian. That's his title. That was kind of cool. And so that kind of explains why Wax is seeing Bloody Tan pop up multiple times now. And basically, she has removed one of her blessings, which means she has cognition but is insane. And somehow what she's doing is she's found a way to steal metal powers, but also do it through hemalurgy and give it to herself. Implying, son of a biscuit, shut up. Who's texting me at 3 a.m.? Which means she's having to put herself above a spike, rip out the wand, turn into gloop, fall into it, and reform. Little messed up. And you learn that with preservation, Harmony can listen into thoughts. With Ruin, he can speak. That doesn't make sense to me. And then you get this really cool visual of Sazed with infinity behind him, stretching out across. And I'm imagining it seeing it sort of in the reflection of the window or in the shadow of the room of the carriage, and just God being right there is really cool. But SoS Harmony talks about I was too good. The reason we have to have the balance because the potential for murders leads to progression. And if humans don't have a desire to want something, they won't do anything. I made this place a heaven on earth. That's a bit weird to say. And you guys should have developed the radio a century ago. You haven't looked into aviation at all. And Wax is like, what the heck are you even talking about?
Look, if you want VTubers, you better get cracking.
Anime is going to be great. You have no idea.
Yeah, that's debatable.
I would stay away from AI, though. I would not.
Yeah. And you get into this sort of interesting mindset of freedom can lead to suffering, but it's better to have that freedom than to restrict everybody. And it kind of ties in.
Well, he's restricted by
Sorry.
his powers, too.
Yeah.
So
ties his own hands.
Right.
And then cut to Marasi. She's at the precinct, and they have the guy, he has steel minds, or so they believe. And they've sent for the Leecher from the first Octant, which is the first time we've ever heard about a Leecher, I believe, which is one of the new 16. But it turns out Wax shows up, like, pushing the doors open and just walking in, pushes on the metal mine.
He's so dramatic.
Doesn't even do it with a wave of his hand. He just pushes. Sort of like Kelsier when he first met Vin. Just walks in pushing on things. It's great.
I mean, if you're going to Darth Vader it, you might as well go all out.
Exactly. And then he pushes on the metal mines, figures out they're fake, and is like, Marasi, I'm going to need your help. I spoke to God, and we're gonna talk to this person. And Rion is just sort of mumbling to himself, and then when he sees Wax, he's like, God left a message. And he's like, I just spoke to him. I'm pretty sure he would have told me. She's like, no, God is a she, and she has a coin in my arm for you. I don't want to know how it got there. And Wax just sort of cuts it out, and it immediately just disturbs him because of what happens in the next chapter. And that's about it.
Man, that's good stuff. That's like straight out of the Dark Knight. But you got a prisoner, he's got something in his skin they cut it out, and then he's like, oh no, only I would know what this means. Like, that is great writing.
Sort of sets up this Bleeder has a focus on Wax ideology. Like, Bleeder knows his history.
Right. It's personal now. If it wasn't obvious from the letter.
And bloody tan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bleeder knows thing about Wax's history. Clearly.
And the fact that it's a coin, like, that's so Mistborn-y. There was a line when Wax was like, oh, was I just sarcastic to God? And
yeah.
And he was like,
that wasn't great.
Actually, it's kind of nice because since Kelsey,
it's kind of refreshing.
There's nobody to
yeah.
But he never finished that sentence. Like, since Kelsey, what? Like was Kelsier the only sarcastic person he knew? I'm sure.
I think it's sort of
pretty sarcastic.
He was also sarcastic to Sazed. Like, I don't think any of the other crew ever really joked at Sazed all too much.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. They were on another level.
Yeah. Like, Breeze would joke, but I don't think he really joked at Sazed. Very really. He would joke with Ham. But him and Ham would joke, but
Kelsier was like that with anybody. It didn't matter your station. He treated everybody like that. Cool.
All right, chapter 8.
Okay. Yeah.
So, we start off with a flashback. So Wax is telling Steris about this coin that he found in the arm of the guy. So the coin is Reader is holding up a coin that we can't really see in the video very well because it's just lighting, my dude. It's not. It's just the lighting. It's too in shadow. Like
Try putting it in your
I
eye.
have the point, is what I'm basically saying.
Yeah. So in the coin, what is special about this coin is that it is a misprinted coin. And it is very hard to spot the misprint in it. So Wax's uncle is showing him this coin and talking about how like it's a misprint, it was an accident, and it's worth actually like a good amount of money to collectors. The collectors like it because there's not a lot of them. It's pretty rare to find them. And they go to the bank that his uncle owns? Question mark, kind of. Sort of.
At least don't stock with.
At least don't stock with.
Right.
And essentially we see that this is kind of where we see Wax's righteousness in this scene. Like it started very young. And this is also like the start of Wax realizing that his uncle is like maybe not such a
D-bag.
good person.
It's horrible.
So he tells Steris about the coin and how he had kept it with him until he moved out to the Roughs. He ended up selling it, I think, right before he moved out to the Roughs. Or right around that time. He needed money. So he sold it. And he hasn't seen this coin since. No one should really know about it. Like he hasn't really told anyone about it. So it's kind of mysterious that this happened. So him and Steris are on their way to Zobel's party in the carriage. And they end up arriving there, and Steris very much planned this fact that when exactly they would arrive, and the fact that I love this is when we could really start to see Steris's personality like come out a little bit more. And I love Steris. I love her. But they end up, instead of going in the front doors like normal people, because there's a line. Steris convinces a little bit. Doesn't take much convincing. Convinces Wax to jump up to use allomancy to go up the side of the building to go up to the top floor instead of using the elevators and waiting for the elevators to go up. Which would be really cool to be able to do. And Wax gets to try out his new fancy toy that Renette gave him, which is essentially a grappling hook on the end of a rope that he can use to help him keep himself close to the building as he's jumping up.
Fancy toy. It's Ghost of Tsushima. It's an iron hook with a rope attached to it.
Yeah, fancy toy.
I'm still waiting for Renette to give him those bat-shaped shurikens.
And they eventually get up to the top and they enter the party.
Let's see.
In classic
fashion.
If you thought the coin was Mistborny, wait until they steel push themselves into a ball-like party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very familiar. That's why I figured Kate wanted those, and why she's probably going to call dibs on chapter 9. It's a ball chapter again.
party. Also, I do want chapter 9, but for reasons other than the fact that it's a ball chapter.
Sure. So we say Edwarn is like really not a nice person, and
Yeah.
he at one point he said, "Oh, your father should have beaten all this out of you."
And Wax is 12.
Yeah. You should have dreams at 12. You should have dreams at every age.
I love how he's like, I want to be a hero. Like, I don't know
You
what,
too can become.
like, I don't know what I would have pictured Wax as a child to be like, but yeah.
I need a
Yeah.
hero.
So I went and looked it up. Most valuable error coins. So the priciest one I could find in American was a 1943 copper Lincoln cent, and it is worth over $1 million. During World War II, pennies were supposed to be zinc-coated steel, but a few copper blanks from 42 were left in the machine, creating this rare coveted coin. In 75, there's a no S proof Roosevelt dime, which is 450,000. Only 2 such coins exist, which lack the San Francisco Mint mark. Yeah, there are some really ridiculously priced coins.
That
I find
is
it
a
funny.
weird thing.
I find it funny that a penny is worth the most amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's just kind of ironic.
it is, because they literally, like, modern pennies have no value.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually collect coins, and I like someday dream of categorizing them, you know. But I've been saving my change for a long time. I think they're beautiful, honestly. Like, maybe it's just because I'm like a machinist and I work with metal, but like whenever I see the pictures on there, I always think it's cool that they're engraved like that, and it's like a little piece of history. But even I think that's ridiculous. I'm hearing that and I'm just like, wow, why do we buy them? Like, why do people buy them? That's weird.
I remember like elementary school trips to Washington, D.C. and seeing how money was made. It's ridiculous. My grandma used to keep giant piggy banks. Like, these were huge plastic piggy banks for us and all the other grandchildren. And for 18 years, she would just fill it up with any coins she would have. And for your 18th birthday, she would give you that piggy bank. And it was huge and heavy, and
I also think it's that the defective ones go for the most, which is weird. It's like,
Yeah.
if you want some of my rejected parts, I can give you some.
I got the hookup, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there are like rare books, or sometimes the rarest books are the ones that are printed. I've got a copy of Bands of Mourning where the pages didn't cut correctly, and so it's got this weird book shape plus extra if you unfold it. I know somebody who's got an upside down version of, I think, The Lost Metal, where the entire inside is upside down.
Oh,
Neat.
Reader, you know what this reminds me of? Were you
What?
at the book collecting panel at Dragonsteel? Do you
Yep.
remember that? They were talking about all these cool books they had that were signed and, you know, defects or this or that. But like I think at the end of it, kind of the point was like, you know, what makes these books so valuable is that somebody would want it. Like, there was a couple books there that had like I don't know, I can't remember the exact scenario, but there were books there that had more signatures from more famous people, but like another book that had 2 signatures of people that it's really cool to have both of those 2 specific people, like, was worth so much more. So it really
Yeah,
is
the one
like the
I
value.
Yeah, one of the guys had a first edition Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone, signed by J.K., but then he talked about, what was it, 2001? He went to a movie premiere and had the actors sign it, and he was told, oh, that's just going to ruin the price. But now he has a first edition Harry Potter signed by like Daniel Radcliffe and all the other actors, which nowadays would only increase its price.
And there was
For sure.
There was like an edition of The Hobbit that was like signed by Tolkien, and he wrote like a letter in the Elvish script.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is cool. Maybe we should get back to Bands of Mourning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got nothing really. You get Jendal and how his children are even still having to pay off that debt. Zobel's party, once again. Lions exist. Grappling hook. And I comment how I didn't like how Steris was breathless in Alloy of Law at the end. I like this one. This one feels good. It feels good characterization. I like the way they built up to it.
Steris is a little bit of a daredevil.
Yeah.
But
Get a little thrill seeker in her.
yeah, she likes taking risks a little bit. Sometimes
danger.
carefully calculated risks.
Like if
Planned and scheduled risks.
Yeah.
Wax was like a motorcycle guy, she'd be all about that.
I mean,
Yes.
he kind of is in a Mistborn kind of way.
Oh yeah.
Oh
So
gosh, a leather coat.
You heard it here first, folks. Coin shots are the Harley Davidson guys of Mistborn.
Oh boy. Anything else for this chapter set then? Really long chapters.
Fairly, yeah.
Well, if there's nothing else, next time we're going to be covering chapters 9, 10, and 11. Kay apparently has dibs on the ball chapter in 9. For now, it's time to head into the spoiler realm, so if you have not finished this book, the entire series, or potentially the entire Cosmere, then we recommend that you stop here because it is likely that we will talk about everything and anything. If you are caught up, feel free to stick around because it is likely we will bring up details you may have missed or plot threads still yet to come. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, star, heart, whatever it is, and comment your own thoughts and predictions. We would love to hear from you. But for now, this is where we must part. My name is ReaderWarrior, and I have been joined by SwiggitySwoo.
If you think we butchered this story, just know nobody knows the cow better than the butcher.
Nice. Hi.
And Kay.
Have a good one.
And don't forget, there's always another connection. And we're back. Spoilers.
Hi.
Woo.
Thanks for having me.
Chapter 5. When they're analyzing the crime scene, Wax is like, oh, this person wanted to cause chaos. Bleeder's whole MO. Right there. That's her
Chaos.
entire plan.
Yep.
Then you get a reference to
Chaos.
Bilming. Sorry.
I would say chaos to get Wax's attention.
Yeah.
Chaos
You get a reference
control?
to Bilming. Oh boy. The ultimate life form. Bilming being the Lost Metal City. There are 4 characters in all of Brandon's works named Red, and this is 1 out of 4. So much so that if you search Red on the Coppermind, it has a table that you can choose from. Red, Alethi deserter. Red, boatman who brings Wayne to Ellendale University. Red Young, a bounty hunter on Threnody. Or Red Okanogo, a dark one on Mirandus. There's also an Alamancer named Red with 2 Ds.
I was hoping you would bring that up. That's gotta be somebody. That's gotta be a spy, right?
I think they're all just different characters, and Brand just really likes the name.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Doug.
Doug.
Every world has a Red.
Everyone has a Red.
See, I'm thinking he didn't mean to, but now that it's been noticed, it's only a matter of time.
It's entirely possible. I mean,
Possibly. Dims has the ham rip off the sleeves vest. So there's nothing on Pashadon, the building of the school. Like, nothing. I couldn't even find any relation to it on the Coppermine. That was really weird. Alriandra. Literally Alrian with a DR. Could you convince your body not to... So he taps healing and alcohol is flooded out of his system. Could you convince your body that alcohol or coffee or other things we've seen healing get rid of is not poison?
Every weekend.
If you become literally addicted to it.
Oh, that would be interesting.
But even then,
Because
I don't think so, because we see like, I don't think Teft, even with the fire moss, like if he has Stormlight in him, I think that burns off the fire moss.
Maybe?
I don't think he... Yeah.
I don't know if we ever see that on the page, but maybe?
Yeah.
I think you could, as like a heavy, like weed smoker, I've convinced myself that it was like helping me. Like you could totally convince your body that that was something you needed. Like,
But it would have
I
to be
think
like part of your identity. Like,
my opinion stands.
like straight up Rasta for real.
And I'm not saying for me necessarily, but just like, I don't know, maybe some guys I've met.
It is my understanding that a literal part of the Rasta religion is that you communicate with God by smoking pot. And it is a part of the actual religion. So if you're a true Rasta believer in this little hypothetical scenario, because again, I'm not 100% sure that that's the way it works, then, you know, like, maybe.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Not super advocating for it, but like, I think it's possible.
Yeah, I think there might be circumstances where it would be possible. Like, that makes sense to me.
Okay. White-furred beast. Do we actually think there were Yetis or polar bears in Era 1?
I mean...
yeah.
That's weird.
Why?
Just in Era 1, it's like most of everything is dead. Because Rashek was, a douchebag.
Well, he was just uncoordinated in a godly sense.
Yeah.
No, not most of everything is dead. It's that he altered the living creatures to be able to exist.
He only altered humans.
No, he altered other
He
animals.
did play with humans.
he did play with humans, but he altered other animals as well. Like, because we see animals in Era 1.
We see there's horses, there's a reference
Dogs.
to cats.
There's
Wolfhounds,
dogs.
yeah. Do they eat fish?
meat. They eat meat in Era 1.
And they have eggs.
Yeah.
I don't know, just
have
the thought of
eggs.
polar bears existing is really weird.
I'm
Up
sure
at the
there are other
poles,
white
it would
fur
make sense.
animals. It could be a marmot.
We got Wax's Terris name, Asinthu.
Yeah.
And then you can really kind of tell that Brandon had written Bands of Mourning before this because of all the references to the prologue.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Is it a pyro? Or
Yeah,
whatever it
for
was?
those of you who didn't know that, Sanderson wrote the sequel to this book, Bands of Mourning, before he finished writing this book because he was stuck writing Shadows of Self. And so he wrote the sequel to Shadows of Self, which is Bands of Mourning, and then came back and finished writing Shadows of Self.
Yep. I love where Grandma, why don't you ever shoot for the leg? And I'm like, yeah, shoot for the leg, shoot for the hand. Come on.
That's not how that works, though.
And then last thing I got for 5 is, so Marasi comments how there were things she has been searching that prove the governor's bad or corrupt. Was he always corrupt, or did Bleeder make him corrupt?
He's been corrupt, I think, for years.
Okay.
Marasi, it sounds like, has been like gathering information on him, like for a little while. Like this isn't new.
It's been how long since the last book? 5 months?
A year.
It's been a
I
year.
think.
What did I 5 months from?
Yeah.
That's how long
Okay.
we haven't been recording.
Yeah, okay. Anything else for chapter 5? New chapter 6. You get the branches of government, Tindwill, cow, butcher, Deadfinger, reference to Vin buying apples, ATM.
I have a straw to grasp at.
Oh boy. Please
it
do.
It was just like there was a line in the part talking about how things have changed so much and everybody's like having a hard time getting a job and everybody has to adapt, move, change, and it threatens identity, connection, and
Connection.
purpose. And I was just like, is that going to be a thing? Because we already know, I think change is one of the Dawn shards, and like, obviously, identity and connection are important Cosmere factors.
I keyed on that too.
Yeah. Is that a subtle reference?
Yep. What's really weird is we see.
I say, reader, do you know if they were capitalized in the?
They were not, except that, they ended a sentence. I will double check real quick. But I'm pretty sure they were not. I would have typically noticed if they were. No.
Considering you're the only one of us who reads the physical copies.
Yeah. As a true Alethi man should.
No, the Alethi men don't read.
Thank you.
Sir.
I know what I was saying. Yeah, no, it's not capitalized. You had to adapt, move, change. That was good, but it could also threaten identity, connection, and sense of purpose. No capital. So we see Bleeder as Bloody Tan when they're going to check out I-Wee's apartment, and then immediately we also see Marasi as with the governor. Same person. So either Palm's really quick, or I think one of the reasons maybe Brandon did these chapters like this, where you jump around the characters so much, is so in your mind you don't think that they could possibly be the same character.
I mean, it does kind of lend itself to that as well.
Because this whole book, the governor is Palm. And then when she's at the thing, there's a woman named Sophie Tarksel. I believe later, he's the one who basically invents the speakers.
And she's the one that Wayne invests in and how he gets like all of his money.
Yeah, I was in the party chapter, like she and Wayne talk.
Yep. And he ends up investing money in her and ends up like becoming stupid rich.
She formed Tarksel Electric. Yep, it was her father that its invention was stolen by another. Yep.
Which that's funny because, like, we were just talking about how Bands and Shadows were written in tandem pretty much, but Lost Metal, when that happens, is like significantly further down the road.
Yeah.
In terms of when it was written.
It would be interesting to know how much Brandon had in his mind for Lost Metal.
And how that changed.
Yeah, considering how much of a gap.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Spook Journal, which it just downright says it's Spook's Journal in this one. I feel dumb for forgetting that. That's about all I got for chapter 6.
I wonder how people will think of people will think of Era 2 Mistborn when the Cosmere is all said and done. Because thinking about, like, oh, what was his plans for it and how have they changed, kind of got me started down this path of thinking, like, how this whole book series is kind of a detour that just grew into, like, its own thing. Like, are people going to look back and say, oh, those Wax and Wayne books, they're really fun and we love them, but man, like, we could have had Elantris 2 by now.
Well, we could have had it if you didn't want to make a freaking movie.
Yeah.
I think its legacy might be the fact that it inspired Brandon to push for 16 Mistborn books instead of his trilogy of trilogies idea.
Yeah. That he did let slip at Dragonsteel. That's what he's going to do at Nexus.
We're getting 5 eras. Great.
Yep.
Chapter 7. They say Wax and Wayne discuss how, if you die before you can heal, you die. You can't heal from the bullet coming out unless you heal immediately. Hoid appears. I gotta write that down.
Yeah.
In our counters.
And this is, for context wise, this is post Wind and Truth. for timeline wise. This is
I
right
thought that-
after. This is right
Yes.
after Wind and Truth.
He
Hoid
was also
gets
the last one,
no.
though.
He wasn't in the last one. When did he show up in the last one?
Chapter
'Cause
4,
he.
Wedding Dagger.
Oh
He's talking to the
yes.
bride and groom.
Huh.
Mhm.
Because all of Mistborn Era 2 and possibly 3 will exist in between 5 and 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Mistborn Era 3 is also supposed to take place before the back 5 of Stormlight.
Now that there's, time dilation, it's really difficult.
Right. That definitely makes the timeline weird.
So I love how all the time he's talking to Harmony, it's capital Y, capital H, the God capitals. Poem is a third, which there is a reference to them in later versions of Hero of Ages. So, Swiggity, you brought up the Kelsier line.
Yeah, that was a
And
mistake.
no, see, the thing is, actually, that is a really good idea. How, like, on initial read, it's like, oh, he just misses. But looking back, it's like, oh, shoot. Kelsier doesn't joke with Harmony anymore. They're on a professional relationship now,
Yep, because
which makes it a little bit worse.
Harmony is no longer his friend, Sazed.
I think they're friends. It's just
No, but he is no.
He's not the same person.
He's not Sazed anymore.
okay.
Like
I
they
see.
could still be friends, but friendly, but he is no longer the person that Kelsier knew before.
Whoa.
Yep.
Harmony has been taken over by the shards and by the intent of the shard.
And Kelsier's an evil mob boss. There's blame on both sides here.
Kelsier was always kind of a mob boss,
Don't
I
disrespect
mean,
him.
yeah, it's hard to remember that they're basically the bad guys.
Excuse me. Sazed is perfect.
Okay.
He has not done anything bad yet. Just because there's a potential discord in the future
Do
does
we
not mean
do we neglect the time where he's grieving over the loss of Tindwyl and completely just like shuts down on everything?
taking a mental health break is bad.
I mean, he gets a little
That's
sort of snippy and,
It's also
Yeah,
like
depressed.
the
Not like
end
evil
of the
or anything, but-
world. It's
Yeah.
the end of the world.
I would say he's pretty justified in that.
I mean, I was kind of thinking about this the other day, and it's a little bit dark, but just like bear with me. A long time ago, I had a friend ask the question, like, or he just like mentioned, he was like, I've been thinking, like, is it like worthwhile to be moral? And at the time, I was just like, oh my God, dude, like, of course it is. Like, why are you like? I don't want to talk about this. Like, I felt like Breeze and Ham, you know. And, but like, I don't know. I've been really down lately. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I've been thinking about like, um, I've been thinking about like if you had infinite power in the world and infinite money, and like you just saw like the law as, the customs of
Hindrance?
this country or that country, and not really like any morality tied to it. If you just had that like mindset, like, and okay, and the point of it all is to say that if you don't take the time to do that thought experiment of, is morality worthwhile, then do you really know it's worthwhile? And like when Sazed had those dark times, it was to the purpose of questioning the validity of religion, and eventually it led him to like, to where he is. So I don't know. I think that dark chapter, like, it just, if nothing else, I think it makes him like more benevolent because he took the time to prove it out.
I mean, he says, like, you follow my path, you follow my religion, you follow my teachings, you do what I tried to do, or you tried to do what I tried to do.
But now there's almost like a scientific aspect of like the powers are just taking over his mind. Like it's
We don't know. Trust in the boy. So when he's like, you should have had the radio like a decade ago or a century ago, or what is it? How does Sazed like know that?
Because he can see the other worlds and see how they are progressing.
And he can see potential futures.
But is he remembering a potential future from like 100 years ago? Like, it's not like he can peer into what might have been on different timelines. Is that from this point I can see the branches, right?
He's got to be talking to the other shards. It reads to me like he's comparing them to other places.
Oh, that could be cool.
Well, and it might be that he's comparing them to the southern Scadrians, because he does mention them in that same vein. He mentions that there are other people who have gone through hardships.
Never thought
who
of that.
did
Oh,
not
geez.
have. Yeah.
Do they have radio?
Yes.
Southern
I think they
Scadrians had
do.
radio?
Yeah, they have radio. They have aviation. They have like
I like that. That makes a lot more sense in my mind, tying them to the Southern Scadrians.
Right, especially
Okay.
because it's like the same planet. It's literally
Mhm.
like in this area, I made it so that everything grows super quick and you don't have to work super hard.
Mhm.
And over here, hardship, progression.
Mhm.
Do we think Hoid was... Because Wayne says, are you done talking to yourself? So they heard at least Wax's half. But do you think Hoid, the highly invested being he is, was able to tune into whatever Shardic radio Harmony was using and was listening in?
No. Because he would have to open to Harmony.
It just doesn't make sense that preservation can speak through hemalurgy. That doesn't make sense.
Well,
to me.
it's not preservation who can speak through hemalurgy.
Oh, listen, whichever one the preservation one did.
Lesson here.
Yeah. Preservation should not get a power from hemalurgy, period. That does not make sense at all.
So, but it's not just preservation. Like, having a hemalurgic spike opens you to influence from just like the shards in general.
Yeah, but there was a very specific...
Yeah, no, so preservation, I think preservation can just hear the thoughts of people, like just in general.
But there was a very specific line that preservation gave him the power to listen.
Preservation gives them the power to listen. And then
Through hemalurgy, though.
does it say through hemalurgy?
I'm looking for the line.
It's like it says that preservation gave him the power to listen, but it is not specified whether that was heme allergy or if that's just like in general.
When you have the earring in, yes, I gain the ability to hear you from preservation and the ability to speak to you from ruin. So directly really stating that heme allergy.
Okay.
Also, like, we know from ruin, if a person just talks aloud, ruin can listen.
Yeah.
So it's really, this whole part is just a little bit weird. And then also it implies like there is a new contract, like the Kandra have a new contract with Harmony.
Yeah, they do.
I want to know that contract.
They have a contract with Harmony, and at the end of and at some point Harmony releases them from their contract and allows them to leave Scadrial and go explore the Cosmere, because by the time in Tress, Ulam makes a comment. Like there's a comment made about Ulam about the contract with Sazed like being canceled so that that they can like travel. The Kandra can travel.
Yep.
And kind of be their own agents.
I remember this thing.
I remember that. I just didn't ever notice that he says specifically, "Oh, they have a contract with me."
Mhm.
And also, it was really interesting for Sazed to comment, like, "Oh, she's a third. She's older than the Final Empire," because we know that Tensoon was there when the first contract was written. She must have been too. Like,
Yeah.
This is an ancient being.
Yeah. She was 700 years old when the Final Empire fell.
So she's 1,000 plus now.
Yeah.
Talk about an age gap between that relationship. Fake metal mines. And that's about all I got for chapter 7. Scones. Nice little reference to Alloy of Law.
Nice. We should be selling some Cosmere Connection fake metal mines.
You're the machinist, man. Get on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow, a circle of metal. How much is this going to cost me?
It's all about the value we place on it.
Ah, that's true. Roll right into chapter 8 with that. I got nothing really in chapter 8.
Yeah.
Except,
We just start to see Steris's planning levels a little bit in this chapter. We start to see them.
Her meticulous nature.
Her very meticulous nature that shows up in the later books.
I think this is the first chapter where Steris is like, "Oh, I like Steris." Like, really much so.
You're starting to see more of her personality now. Like, you're getting to see a little bit more of her and Wax together.
There was some good stuff too when she was planning for things to go wrong at the wedding.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You said this woman Renette probably wouldn't shoot you at your own wedding.
Yeah. But this feels more like Wax is like, this is like, he's actually like kind of enjoying like her meticulous planning in this scene versus the other scene where it doesn't necessarily feel like he's like enjoying like the fact that she's like trying to plan for something to go wrong at their wedding.
Yeah.
As opposed to in this where he's like, he kind of finds it fun that like he's like kind of poking fun back at her.
Yeah, he's starting to buy into it a
And I
little bit.
also,
Mhm.
I'm also trying to remember like how I was, and I feel like I did not really like her in Alloy of Law, and that might have carried over a bit into Shadows. So that those first couple, were kind of neutral, but this I feel like is where I started to really like Steris.
Yeah, I mean, she was like not present very much in Alloy of Love. So
She was
Yeah,
not a well-written character in Alloy of Law, to be honest.
well, she just wasn't there.
Well, like,
She
even
showed
so
up
much
in,
as
like-
being kidnapped.
She
the
shows up in, like,
damsel who
3
enjoys being
scenes.
rescued. Like, the damsel that, you know, enjoys being rescued to a specific degree. Like, I feel like that wasn't exactly the best characterization.
But she's supposed to be the librarian that like lets her hair down and takes her glasses off for a little bit. Like she's stuffy and like I don't know, because Wax has this like idea about himself that he's this rough and tough lawman, which I don't think is 100% true. Like he's, there's a lot more depth than he enjoys getting into the books and stuff, right? But like it's at the beginning, it's that idea. It's like it's the perfect foil to his like, oh, I'm a rough and tough guy. Like, she's like the librarian who oh, she's too nerdy or whatever. Like, I don't know. That's the kind of the trope, I think. But like turns out Steris is awesome.
Both good foils of each other, because we see like Wax does like that tiny little analysis stuff that she's well known for.
I was curious
Anything
about
else for
Wax's
this
dad.
episode?
It was like mentioned, but I don't know if we've heard like anything about his parentage too much.
This is the most I think we get from when I checked it. There's pretty much nothing on Wax's dad. We know he was not Terris, and Ed Warren was basically more of their father figure. And that's about it. I will double check.
Yeah,
real quick.
Ed Warren essentially raised them, like kind of took him and Telson on to be raised as like the heirs to the family fortune, because Ed Warren himself didn't have any kids yet. So he needed an heir, so he took his brother's kids and essentially like
Tried to turn them into miniature versions of himself.
I can't even
Which,
seem to find a thing
yeah.
for him on the cover.
kind of succeeded with
Yeah.
Telson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his father's name?
I don't know if his father
Oh, it's unnamed.
has a name.
Wow.
That's interesting.
It's probably Doug.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah. It's either Doug or Red. Wedwarn? Medwarn?
Wax is a descendant of Edgard Ladrian Alrian and Alrian Set. Wow, it's weird seeing Breeze's government name. Mixed heritage, Terris on his mother's side, noble blood on his father's. Yeah, there's like nothing on his father.
All right, I was just curious.
Their parents died, was reported as an accident. Telson claims this death was due to Harmony's agents trying to get to her. I don't believe that at all. Yeah, that's about it. Okay. But that's just going to cover it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us on our ramblings and predictions. This has been Cosmere Connections, and we hope to see you next time.